Hi, my name is Kenneth Hansen, and I will be presenting the documentation for a roulette program. We'll start out with the business requirements specification. The roulette program will be the classic casino game involving bets on what number will come up on the spin of a wheel. Players will bet on the outcome and will be paid off based on the likelihood of their bet succeeding. We will start with one table. Rules. Unless otherwise specified, a player will start out with $100. The table will have minimum and maximum bets of $1 and $100 respectively. The player can either bet on red, black, or a number from 1 to 35, 0, or double 0. Odd numbers are red and even are black. 0 and double 0 are green and are instant losers for a red-black bet. A successful red-black bet will pay out 2 to 1, and a successful single number bet will pay out 35 to 1. A player can choose to leave the table with their current money before betting. A single table can have no more than 4 players. The players. Each player will be given the choice to bet or leave each turn. Players can make as many bets as they want in a turn, as long as they have the money to complete them. After all players have made their choices, the wheel is spun and a random number is chosen. Players are then paid for any successful bets made. If a player leaves the table, they keep whatever winnings they have and free up their position for other players. A player is forced to leave if they cannot make the minimum bet. Future expansion. Betting will later be expanded to include different types of bets, including betting on groups of numbers. The number of players per table may also be changed to fit the need. More tables will be added so that many players can play in a game room type setting. And these are future plans and are not represented in the current documentation. We'll look at the classes next. We'll start out with the player class. The player class has 3 accessible attributes: money, name, and ID. Money will hold the amount of money a user has, name will hold their name, and ID will hold a unique ID number. Default money will hold the default value for a default player when they are constructed. The player class has a few methods. The bet method will allow them to bet on a number. The leave method will cause them to leave the table. Menu will present a menu for betting. We'll have constructors to set up name, ID, money. And we'll have a save player method to save the player's current attributes for loading later if they come back to play. Getters and setters for all non-final attributes will also be included. Next class we have is the table class. The table class has a few default values for minimum bet, maximum bet, and maximum number of players at a table. It also has a player array for holding the player objects at that particular table. The profit attribute will be hidden from players and it will hold the profit/loss for the table. Player number holds the number of players currently at the table, and the spin result will hold the result of the spin wheel. The table class will have a few methods. Spin wheel returns a random number between -1 and 35, -1 being double 0, and 0 of course being 0. Add player will add a player to the table, and remove player will remove one. Getters and setters for each non-final attribute will also be included in this class. The roulette class. The roulette class has no attributes because it is the main class, runs the main program. Aside from the main method, it will have 2 other methods. Load player, which will load players who are rejoining the table from the file, and play roulette, which will initialize the game. Class interactions. The table class holds a number of player classes for use. The roulette class manages the turns by calling methods from the table class. If the roulette class needs to interact with the player directly, it calls it from the player array attribute in the table. Finally, we have the UML class diagram. The UML diagram shows all 3 classes, their attributes and methods. It also shows the interactions between the classes. Here you can see that the table class has an optional 0 to 4 relationship with the player class. This means it can hold up to 4 players, but it is not forced to hold any. The roulette class has a 1-to-1 relationship with table. This means that it is forced to hold one and only one table during its lifetime. This concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.